What's also on Disney Plus is the Book of Boba Fett. Our second topic. Let's get to this one. The Book of Boba Fett, an American space western television series created by Jon Favreau for the streaming service Disney Plus. It is part of the Star Wars franchise. Surprise, surprise, taking place after the events of Return of the Jedi, and is a spin-off from the series The Mandalorian that features the fan-favorite crime lord and bounty hunter Boba Fett as he re-emerges to establish himself within the galaxy's underworld once again. Tamura Morrison plays the titular protagonist alongside Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shand and plenty of other brilliant actors we won't spoil. Several attempts were made at developing a standalone Star Wars film centered on Boba Fett before Lucasfilm began prioritizing its streaming series, such as The Mandalorian. A potential spin-off series was first reported in November 2020 and was officially announced in December. Filming had begun by that point and lasted until June 2021. The Book of Boba Fett premiered on December 29, 2021 and ran for 7 episodes until February this year. The series has received decently positive reviews with a series average IMDb rating of 7.5 from 88,000 users and a Rotten Tomatoes average rating of 74%. Noting here that Mr. Movies has not checked out this one, so we'll just keep it to the dulcet tones, the era of, and myself. I'll go to Mr. Mira for your thoughts, sir, on the Book of Boba Fett.
I think with The Mandalorian, the first season was kind of slow and really took its time to really get to like the meat and potatoes of it all. We were still on like the, I don't know, what's other entree foods?
Hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah, we're still on the hors d'oeuvres.
Still getting through pigs and blankets.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I would eat peas and blankets all day.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of sauce on that. Anyway, well, I feel like with Boba Fett, it kind of took a very, very long time. I don't know. And it's like, this is probably one of the biggest criticism, or one of the common criticism I've seen out there, is that if it wasn't for character reveal later on in the show, can we talk about it?
Sure, why not?
It's all over the socials. If it wasn't for Din Djarin coming in later in
Mando,
I feel like it wouldn't have, like, the last half of the season wouldn't have gotten so much like fan hype over it, which is such a shame because like Boba Fett, like canonically and like is such a cool character. Everyone loves Boba Fett. Everyone like before Din Djarin, like Boba Fett was like the Mandalorian that everyone would like design their armor, like their own homemade armor from, right? Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about the mood of the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe it's the score thing. Hey, Jim Beans. I don't know. It just didn't feel like cool until about the last half of the season. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Like Tamora Morrison did a good job. Ming-Na was fucking amazing. She's always awesome in everything she does. Like Chung-Li, you know. Yeah,
Mulan,
I think
Jason,
and Mulan, yes, of course. And I think with the show, there are some elements in it that I made me go, that's an interesting choice. But yeah, I think all in all, I think I walked away from it going, that was cool. But like, I just give me more Mandalorian. Give me Mandalorian season 3. There were some moments that I absolutely loved, which I'll get to in a second. But there's some moments that just made me think, ooh, not the best. And one in particular is the scooter chase scene. Sorry, the Vespa chase scene. Sorry, the speeder bike chase scene.
I know what you mean.
It just, there was no stakes. It just felt like, oh, you know, in I think it's Holy Grail, right? Monty Python Holy Grail. He's like running towards the castle,
and they have him like coming again and again.
Yeah, it's like the same footage over and over again. It's like the chase scene was that without the payoff at the end of that scene, and I'm like, oh. And it just wasn't, I don't know, it just seemed cheesy. And those, like, cyberpunky punk kids, literal...
It
like, it just...
mods. The mods.
I don't know. Like it's cool that they're introducing cool elements of the universe into Boba Fett, but it just didn't feel. Ugh. And like I think some of the sentiment I see out in the socials is like, why is everything happening on Tatooine? Why can't it happen on other? There are like millions of planets
1000%.
that things can happen on, but it's always happening on Tatooine.
Spice.
Yeah, some awesome scenes. Like when you what's his name? Cad Bane, is it? Yeah,
Cad Bane.
him like turning up. I was like, oh my god, that was awesome. And then like seeing things like, again, we're going the full spoilers, yeah.
Sure. Let me put the spoiler tag on.
All right. Like seeing like Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano in the same shot, and Ahsoka saying to Luke, "You remind me a lot of your dad." I was like, "Oh my god, they're just talking about Anakin." Oh,
Yeah,
it was
just
like,
casually. It's like, yeah.
I was like, things that I thought I would never see in a Star Wars. A Star Wars. Like I would have loved to have seen like a bigger like fight between Cad Bane and Boba Fett, but otherwise, like some of the cool moments in the show were like uber cool. Like the N1 Naboo Starfighter was like the reveal of it. I was like, oh,
yeah.
The Naboo Starfighter has always been one of my favorite designs of a starship.
Yep.
So
I loved
really...
that in Rogue Squadron there was a cheat to unlock it.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
That you could fly that. Oh, so good.
On the
So
64?
good.
Yeah.
On the,
and that was
on the
before
Nintendo
Episode
64.
1 came out.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of at the same time.
That's kind of it's just some really, and that's what I mean. Some moments in this show is like really freaking cool.
Yeah.
And then the other moments in other moments in the show that are like, oh, really? I mean, this is Boba Fett. It's like one of the most baddest arsest like bounty hunters in the galaxy. And he's, he was very diplomatic.
You guys explain to me why everyone loved Boba Fett, like when it was just the original trilogy.
It's
like
because
something. I think it's something to do with mystery, but I think it's also to do with the armor design. So he was arguably the coolest of the bounty hunter looking villains. He had the jetpack, which is like a huge thing for that time period. Like you've got the Rocketeer, you've got like all of these other characters that got jetpacks, and it's just the coolest thing in the fucking world.
Did he even use the jetpack in the original trilogy?
He did. He used the. Hang on. I know he definitely used it in the remastered edition because he used it to get onto the float that Luke Skywalker is supposed to get kicked off. He uses it to fly across from one to the other, and that's just like he's got a jetpack, and like his weapon looks cool, his armor looks cool, but he's behind a mask, so there's like this mystery element to it as well. And then you've got all of the expanded universe stuff that kind of comes out of that, and people creating this world around the character. For me, my favorite thing about Boba Fett is the Slave One, the ship that he's got. Like, so like Jay saying that Boba Fett was the Mandalorian that lots of people design their armor off. That's probably true, but for me, it was Jango Fett after the I think it was on the PlayStation 2, the
Bounty Hunter? Yeah.
The Star Wars Bounty Hunter, where you play as Jango Fett and hunt bounties, and you've got a jetpack and you run around, you've got the grapnel hook, and there's the mission, and this is an important point. The game of Bounty Hunter with playing Jango Fett, to me, the Boba Fett series kind of reads like a game. Like you've got Boba Fett coming back on the scene, and he's got like I'm going to take over this crime syndicate thing that that Jabba the Hutt left kind of to this nupty stupid guy whose name I forget. Not Greedo. That's the guy that got shot. What's the guy's name? It doesn't matter. He shoots him real quick, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna have to go do this mission to, establish some dominance and get some tributes. And there's a mod gang. It's like, oh, you need some assistance with this mod gang that's like refusing to pay you for your moisture that you're farming. Oh, okay, well, I'll go take care of. Yeah, I put it that way because there's a literal job on Tatooine of being a moisture farmer. Anyway, yeah. Oh gosh, what's the character's name? He's the
Maxi Geek said it's called Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna, that's it. Bib Fortuna's the guy. He's got like head tails, but isn't a Twi'lek. Oh gosh, the guy that plays in Office Space, the dweeby dude that misses out on the cake and sets the building on fire. That actor is like this moisture. He's a water merchant in the town, and he's like, I've got these mods that are just going to ruin business and refusing to pay. And Boba's is like, well, I'll go take a look-see. And he goes out and like tries to fix it, and then like they're like, well, he's like price gouging, and then he's like, well, I've got a moral decision here. What am I going to do? Am I going to uphold the bounty, or am I going to like help the mod guys because this guy's being a dick? And all of it, like you could map this to a game where you're playing the character of Boba Fett and you're left with like the renegade or paragon decision, and he decides to do the renegade decision and renege on helping the guy that was originally there. And it's kind of consistent through at least the first 3, maybe 4 episodes, where it feels like I'm watching somebody else play a video game without seeing the person that's making the decisions or having a conversation with the audience about the decisions they're making in the video game, which was weird. I will agree with Jason that there were some brilliant scenes. I love the Tusken Raider Sand People arc or thread of the story, and the train that they do, like the train robbery, because that's like right out of the westerns, like riding your horses to catch up to the steam train, and or a stagecoach, and like highway robbery and stuff like that. It's a really cool scene, and like the idea that that's where he got like the stick that he's got, because everyone's like, when you see him and he's got this weird stick, and I'm like, that doesn't look like one of the weapons that he had back in the day. I like that they establish a bit of a history for the character, like where he's been since he was spat back out of the Sarlacc pit and got to where he is now. I like that element of it. I love The Mandalorian, Din Djarin, but the series is the Book of Boba Fett, and I'm like, I kind of feel like he ended up playing second fiddle on his own show to a lot of the characters that were being introduced. It's like the show was hijacked partway through by this character who I guess just carries a bit more weight due to recency and the massive popularity of that show. And I kind of feel like this was Mandalorian season 2.5, or like an interlude season for the character. I thought that I had accidentally clicked on the wrong show when I got to the episode, which basically starts with him going in and doing a thing. I'm like, wait a second, what? Huh?
Yeah, I remember in our group thread, I was like, if for whatever reason someone is jumping into the Book of Boba Fett without having seen Mandalorian, they are 100% lost. They are asking the question, am I watching the right show? Like, did someone upload the wrong file to the Book of Boba Fett?
It's like when we went to the cinemas and they had like the first 5 minutes of the Captain America Winter Soldier sequence start at because it's the same first 5 minutes. The opening action sequence of it was in the movie. We're like, they've put the wrong movie on. Like, this is the wrong film. So yeah, I don't know. There was like cognitive dissonance is the wrong thing, the wrong term. But I was like, wait, what? I questioned reality for a moment because I thought that I was looking at the wrong thing. But don't get me wrong. Like, I kind of feel like we're a bit starved for Din Djarin content, and so it was nice to see him. But it's kind of like, it's not what I signed up for, and it's not what you packaged to sell me. I'm not going to argue that you put a better product in the
Yeah,
package.
it's like you bought
Um,
sausages and you end up with a
like,
fillet
yeah.
steak or something.
Yeah, it's
Like, look, I'm not angry, but this is not what
Yeah,
I was.
I'm not angry. I'm just confused.
Yeah, I was
Like,
planning to have a barbecue this evening, just
yeah,
like throw some
and now I've
sausage
got to
on
handle
bread,
precisely.
and now here I am with this.
Yeah, the high stakes. Anyway,
One thing to order like a 6-pack and get like 8 nuggets. It's another thing to
Yeah.
order a 6-pack and get 6 chicken McPieces. It's like
yeah,
they're
yeah,
different.
I know
Yeah,
what you mean.
exactly. Yeah.
And different by class, for sure.
Chris and Chad, they ordered the McFed and I got the Mando Whopper.
And I like that.
Amazing.
The McFett. I like that a lot.
Boba Fett didn't even show up that episode at all.
At all, none.
At all.
Like it's
No.
it's not an episode of. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's different for a show like Mad Men, right? Like where I think there is an episode
yeah.
like a first episode in one of the later seasons where you don't see Don Draper at all until the very end, and he has like no bearing on the episode whatsoever.
Yeah.
But that's an ensemble cast with multiple story threads and character threads happening that you care about Peggy and
Precisely.
Roger and that
Yeah,
sort of thing, and
they
Ben
didn't do
Campbell.
that in the first episode or in the
Exactly.
first 5 episodes.
Exactly.
And I think this is a piece of trivia that Ben shared with me because Ben's a massive Seinfeld head. What's the actor that plays George Costanza?
Jason Alexander.
George Panther.
Jason Alexander. Apparently, there's like an episode somewhere along where he's not in it, and he didn't know that he wasn't in it, and then went to the producers, or it was just like if you ever do that again, I quit.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're like, won't ever happen again. And so he's in every episode before and after that episode, because he wasn't in it, and he's like, I'm not Jerry Seinfeld. I understand that, but I'm George Costanza. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have this show without my character. And I tell you, I'm not going to do the show again. Like, if you ever do that again, I will quit the same day. And they did this to like Boba Fett and
It wasn't
Tamura.
a punitive thing. It wasn't just like
Yeah,
you'll feel my wrath. It was just like, hey, if we can't agree,
yeah,
I'll just go my way and you can go your way. That's fine.
yeah,
But
exactly. Sorry, yeah, I don't mean to paint Jason Alexander as like a petulant child
A
whining
tyrant, yeah.
about it, or anything like that. But it's like this would be the same as not putting Jerry Seinfeld, who is the titular character of Seinfeld, not in an episode.
to be honest, it was because of the money. Like Jerry would be fine if he wasn't in an episode because he owns the show. You know,
Yeah,
he owns
sure.
a huge cut of the show. But the other 3 actors are getting kind of screwed. Like they're getting paid for all the episodes they're in, getting paid very handsomely, which is nice. But they're being absorbed into the idea of the character that they are, and they probably can't get work after this, except for
Yeah,
you know being like they're just known. Like he's known forever as George Costanza.
yeah. Well, you look
And-
at anything that he's done. Like I think he's in that Jack Black movie, Shallow
Shallow
Hal,
Hal.
Oh, yeah.
and he has like a tail. He's like
Yeah.
he plays a really weird character. I can't think of anything else that he's in. So I think
yeah, it's
you're
really
probably
only
right.
Louis Dreyfus who went on to do like
Yeah,
other notable
to do
acting
some more
things.
stuff.
I think he was
Oh,
in
yeah.
Marvel.
he was in Pretty Woman as well, Jason
Oh,
Alexander.
right. Yeah.
But I can't think of many other things. So yeah.
Yeah, Garfield without Garfield comics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's weird, and I'm sure there's plenty of Garfield panels where it's just Odie, gosh, what's the
Anyway,
John?
we've
John.
along. There you go.
But yeah. Anywho, yeah, Boba Fett. He's not in that episode, and it feels weird. And like the tenuous thread is that like he happens to come back to Tatooine, in order to get like a ship because like the mechanic like gave him a call to say, hey, like I heard you got a broken ship, and so I've got something. Yeah, I've got something mint, and I like that character. That lady plays a really great character
She
in the
was a
show.
hoot.
And I love that scene in the final episode where the the Sherpa attendant kind of just eats shit and they get catapulted out of the litter, and like I don't know, I love that. I think it might have been one of you guys where you like freeze frame and it's Baby Yoda saying, so like you're probably wondering how I got here, sort of stuff. I like that scene a lot. I like that character a lot. She's quirky and fun. The Naboo Starfighter was a great episode, although I don't understand why it sound like they made the starship sound like a V8 or something like that. They put like car
That's
noises.
kind of like that's what they were going for, right? This was going to be the V8 of space.
Yeah, it's
I
it's
don't
a bit
mind.
cheesy.
It looks
It looks great.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm buying that Lego set.
Yeah, the minute it drops, it's
Yeah.
like
Like,
this will be the best deal
my
in the history of
Razor
deals.
My Razor Crest is up there somewhere.
I love
Nice.
thinking about you and
Yeah.
your Lego as if you're Waylon Smithers and it's, the Malibu Stacy
It's got a
stuff.
new hat.
Yeah.
I just love to imagine
Oh.
you like fighting your way past like children to like get the thing and
I kind of feel like
punch them in the
Star
face.
Wars and Lego are just like the perfect
Mm-hmm.
partnership. They're the perfect vessel for one another. Like they leverage so well. Lego Star Wars. Like I almost throttled my younger brother. I went and visited home because I had the pod racer Lego set where you had Anakin, Sebulba, and the other one was called Gasgano, which you would have only known if you played the pod racer video game on Nintendo 64. And he was throwing it out. I'm like, over my dead body. It may be incomplete because it got dropped and bits went everywhere, but like I'm saving this from the trash heap because it's a part of my childhood. But yeah,
Now that's pod racing.
They sell each other so well, the merchandise. So yeah, I'm with Jace. I'd probably buy that as a Lego set as well.
And I don't have a Naboo Starfighter figurine or something anyway, so I got to add to the collection.
The Clone Trooper dropship as well.
Oh my god,
that.
It's so good.
So
it's so expensive.
It is super expensive. I went and got Jen for Valentine's Day the bouquet of flowers, the Lego bouquet.
Oh, nice.
Which is what she wanted. And when I was there, they had one of the things like suspended from the Lego shop, and I saw it like it was almost like that the scene in the Matrix when he sees the red woman in the red dress, and he just does like the like I'm walking, but I'm just like looking at the dropship as I walk in. Anyway, Star Wars. Watch the show. It is enjoyable. I like Timothy Oliphant. After watching the series, I've ended up on a YouTube binge of Justified scenes where Timothy Oliphant plays a US Marshal, and it's a Western basically as well. And so Raylan Givens is essentially the character that Timothy Oliphant plays in the Boba Fett.
Wait, what's this show, Terry?
Justified.
Hendrix raved about this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Hendrix
years ago.
put me onto it years ago.
I will watch the TV show if it's got Timothy Oliphant in it.
I think it ran for 4 or 5 seasons. I can't remember which. It's also got his name Walton Goggins.
Oh, Walton Goggins, amazing.
Yeah, he's in it as well.
I love saying that name.
Yeah, Walton Goggins, phenomenal. So, and they have lots of screen time together because they're like old childhood buddies, and everyone speaks with a southern accent. And it's like, "Hello, Raylan." Brilliant show.
Yep.
And because of the Book of Boba Fett, I'm on a binge of YouTube snippets of that show.
So speaking of this is now one of the things. The next thing that's coming out for Star Wars is Mando season 3. Do you think
Obi-Wan first?
Oh,
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Sorry, my mistake. But let's look at take a step back. You've got Mando season 1, 2, and then 3 coming out. Is it essential viewing to watch Book of Boba Fett to know what's happening in Mando? You reckon?
I think it will be.
What do you think?
I think it will
Disney
be
wants you to
because
believe that.
Yeah, Disney wants you to believe it. I think it does because the episode, and this is why I think of this as an interlude thing for Mandalorian, because the episode where he's introduced has him being exiled from his family, like the sect of the Mandalorians that he's a part of. And you're going to come to season 3 and he's going to be like, well, I better go back to this planet so I can get redeemed. It's like, what do you mean get redeemed? What happened?
Yeah.
And so if you haven't seen it, you won't know.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you to subscribe to Disney Plus.
Yeah. I'll quickly tear through my thoughts. I think this is certainly a case for me of careful what you wish for, because I remember saying when Disney acquired Star Wars that I want them to create something akin to the MCU where all these different character arcs, tie into one another. And there's a tapestry happening where other characters meet other, new characters, and we get these great dynamics that happen. To your point, Jason, Ahsoka, Luke Skywalker, Din Djarin and Boba, and I've come to realize that I was completely wrong because I don't like what we have here. I think this is a series completely lost, and I think it's a series that doesn't know what it wants to be, and it feels like it just needs to fill out the content schedule for Disney Plus. I think both Force Awakens and The Mandalorian have shown us that what can be cool about Star Wars in the year 2020 or in the last decade or so isn't what has come before. Like, I remember us reviewing Force Awakens and me saying that the coolest things to come out of that movie had nothing to do with what came before. It was Rey, it was Finn, it was Poe, and it was BB-8. Those were the coolest characters, right? And we cared about them, and they were new. And the fact that we had, Han Solo and Chewbacca back and Leia and that sort of thing, that was all nice. That was all a nice tie-in. But I cared about my 3 new best friends and the adventures we were going to go on with them over the next trilogy. And lo and behold, by the end of it, we're dealing with fucking Palpatine again, of all things.
Yeah.
And I really just like how that trilogy ended. I think to the same extent here, Mandalorian shows us that, and same thing with Rogue One. In fact, Rogue One and Mandalorian will probably stand as my 2 favorite Star Wars things.
Star Wars IPs in the new
right, yeah, right next to something like Jedi. Oh my God, what's the game? Jedi Fallen Order. In the sense that, like, we get to inhabit a world and a universe that we love and have all this cool tech and gadgets and that sort of thing. All of that world building is there, except we actually get decently told stories with clear character motivations, fantastic, localized actions with, easy to follow emotive paths for these characters. And we're not caught up in the bloody Skywalker Vader, just mess that's been created over the last few decades. So yeah, I got to the end of this, and like I said, like the fact that they needed to rope in Mando and Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka, and Grogu, and even Cad Bane to some extent. It really just highlights, like, okay, this show really needed saving, and the fact that they couldn't create a compelling story arc for someone like Boba Fett. Is with an almost blank slate. It's like, okay, we're going to revive him, essentially, resurrect him from the sands of Tatooine. What can we do with him? And this is what they serve up to us. I'm actually really disappointed. In fact, it does kind of like tarnishes my feelings towards Jon Favreau as this leading sort of shepherd of the Star Wars IP, in the year 2020 and 2021 and moving forward. Off the back of Mando, I was like, oh, I have complete faith in him. And now with this, I'm like, oh, I don't know anymore. Like, what is Mando season 3 going to be? Are we going to be relying on the ties to the old trilogies and that sort of thing? I really don't want that to happen. I want to get back to, characters we care about, Mando's relationship with Grogu, that sort of thing. And I think it's a perfect case, at least for me personally, of careful what you wish for, because this is not what I want, and I can't say I'm particularly excited for Obi-Wan. I will watch it just because I'm curious, but at the end of the day, I don't think this show is a reason to scream from the rooftops that you need to subscribe to Disney Plus. Mando, I would say, yeah, like I think Mando is. I could recommend Mando to someone who hasn't watched Star Wars before. Be like, hey, this is a really cool sci-fi world. In fact, I've done that with friends who haven't seen Star Wars. I'm like, just give Mando a shot, because it's such a cool vibe. Like, it's a great simple character to absorb. The one positive I will say about this is Ludwig Göransson, the composer, also did the theme for Mando and worked on Boba Fett. I think he did another great job here. And I also will say I did enjoy the Sand People arc that you mentioned, the Tusken Raiders arc. Terry. I like that world building, that I suppose lifting the veil on a small corner of the universe in a very deep way. It's like focusing on a culture. I like that stuff. So
I like that they introduced that in The Mandalorian as well, because like he's there having a conversation with the Tusken Raiders in I think it's in the first season. Could be the second season, I can't remember now. I like that they've fleshed that out. Like, there are cultural interactions between these people, and they're not completely isolationist. I was I would like to see how he became friends with them, like Django, Din Djarin. I'd like to see how he became friends with the Sand People, the Tusken Raiders. For me, I think that the Star Wars going forward probably needs to lean into that type of content. Like, it doesn't have to be Tatooine again, but like, let's do a deep dive of the Jawas. Let's do a deep dive of any of the races that have had cultural, like the Geonosians or the Kaminoans or something like that. Let's or like even go back in time. Like, you've got carte blanche to tell, like, just to agree with you, kind of. You've got carte blanche as Disney to do whatever you want with this IP. You can pick any portion of the universe or the galaxy of Star Wars, and just be like, what are we going to
fill
do?
in the gaps, essentially?
Yeah, it's like precisely. They're it's like painting by numbers. How are we going to bridge these storylines that already exists? Because I'm a part of my concern is, like, it seems like the Luke Skywalker just seems to get younger rather than like aging appropriately with time kind of going on, because like it's supposed to have been a significant amount of time, but not so significant that he has barely aged a day. Anyway,
time is relative, you know. Different planets might have different.
To your point, Terry, like, we've had fantastic
is
stories, way like, you know, Old Republic stuff as well.
That's what I mean. Like, go to the Old Republic,
yeah.
You know.
And that's
like,
why I was excited by it. Like, even though, you know, The Last Jedi disappointed most people, I you know, on more rewatchings of The Last Jedi, I enjoy it more and more actually as a Star Wars film that's trying to be different. I like the ambition that Rian Johnson had. So the fact that, you know, Rian Johnson was attached to, or I think is still attached to, write and direct his own separate Star Wars trilogy in a completely, you know, different corner of the universe, that has me excited, because we know the type of great cinema that, you know, someone like Rian Johnson can deliver. And now there's reports that that's at risk. Like, you know, he can't agree with the executives at Disney, and they're wrestling creative control back. I'm like, it just goes to show that, you know, when you try and, like, I know I'm only, you know, sort of speculating here, but when you try and veer away from what is known and what is safe, that they kind of rein you back in. Like, the same thing happened with, was it Ant-Man with Edgar Wright, right? He was originally set to direct that. So I'm just rather disappointed in the lack of ambition, I suppose, here as well. So
yeah, that makes sense. I think
that's a really funny comment in chat. That was like, let's do the Sarlacc origin story.
Oh, that's so good.
I think it was Jim Beans actually earlier said Star Wars needs to take a break. Like, I agree. Like, it's not going to happen, of course, because you know, we've got the Obi-Wan and then bloody Mando season 3.
Mando season 3
at the end of the year as well. So
I, for one, am keen for more Pedro Pascal. As Mando.
Well, I mean, that was one of the things that he had as a thing. I think I remember the Jeremy from The Quartering talking about, like, Pedro Pascal wanted more FaceTime, which contradicted the character who's not allowed to take the helmet off. And so
I don't know why he didn't just lie. It's like, did you take your helmet off? No.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
How is his face so tan? Oh, I guess, I don't know. Yeah,
well, that could just be genetics. Like,
maybe he takes it off when he's alone and he's sunbaking.
Yeah, it's like, and you're allowed to do that because no one can see your face.
Actually, that's why all the stories.
Because sunbaking.
That's it.
He wanted more FaceTime, so I think that we're probably going to end up with actually more FaceTime. But I don't know.
Anyway,
you've made a lot of compelling points, Shane, that I think you're kind of correct. I enjoyed the series, but it is disappointing when you think about how strong The Mandalorian is.
There was a lot that you guys mentioned that I enjoyed. Like, there was key action scenes that were fantastic. I just think that,
like that.
Given the
Jar Jar Binks,
given like the starting premise, the potential of, we're gonna resurrect Boba Fett essentially. Where do we take him? And this is what they deliver. I can't. I'm not sure I can agree with anyone and say, I thought that was a great revival of the character. And, you know, like,
well, I feel like,
it was stumbling through across the finish line.
A take from someone who didn't watch it, and so take it as you will. It's a terrible idea to take a character that just is cool and nothing else, and give him more than a breath to take in a show or a film, because
Yeah.
your hero needs to be challenged, and you need to show weakness and overcome that weakness. Like, you can't put a weakness onto Boba Fett. He's supposed to be the coolest gunslinging bounty hunter guy ever, and
The jetpackiest, gunslingiest
exactly.
bounty
So
hunter.
and
Yeah.
it was just like that Jack Reacher show. He's supposed to have an answer for every question that's thrown at him.
Yeah.
And now you put him in a TV show flavored storytelling device where he's still the center character and needs to be in the center of every scene. And you have to have people that can best him, and it doesn't make any sense. And you see it and you go, ugh. Like, you see him get into a fight with a guy that's literally a quarter of the size of him, and going and landing blows and causing, it's like, you're supposed to go, oh no, maybe he won't make it out of this one, but then of course he does.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're asking the question, maybe this guy's got the best of Jack Reacher, it's like that. It's a sentence that shouldn't be uttered. You've made a mistake if you've gotten to this point. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like you guys are explaining the same thing with the Boba Fett thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you're onto something there. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here. Book of Boba Fett. It's on Disney Plus if you'd like to go check it out yourself.